I'm Dr. Robert Moore, and we're here to talk about digestion and absorption. And so what happens when you eat food? What is the whole process, and how do you want to make sure that it's working properly? And I want to thank Dr. Andy Barlow for his 10-story building analogy. So let's get started on the top floor. When you start eating food, the first thing that happens is you smell that food, you salivate. And that saliva is stimulated through your 7th and your 9th cranial nerves, your parasympathetic nerves. And so you salivate, and that releases lipase, that releases amylase. So you start breaking down sugars and fats right away. And then the 9th floor is going to be chewing. You start to chew that. That's going to be cranial nerve number 5. Your cranial nerves are in your brainstem and through here, in the pons, in the medulla. So right about there in your brainstem is those nerves in charge of salivating and chewing. So you chew your food because you have to digest, you have to break down these big food particles into teeny weeny pieces that can be absorbed into your system. So you chew that, and then swallowing. Swallowing is a combination of the 9th cranial nerve, that's where you feel food on the back of your throat, and then it's the job of the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve, to make you swallow it. And that is part of your medulla in through here. So as soon as food hits back here, and you feel it and you start to swallow it, as soon as you start to swallow it, now you are not under conscious control. And this is the vagus nerve's job. The vagus nerve controls digestion from your mouth, from the back of your mouth, so as soon as swallowing, your upper esophageal sphincter, all the way down to about your belly button of your transverse colon. Now, as you swallow, we're going to push that food is going to come down through the upper esophageal sphincter. And you know that you have a problem with this is if you're choking on your food all the time. If you watch somebody eat and they're choking consistently, that's a problem with the vagus nerve controlling the upper esophageal sphincter. Food comes down your throat and it goes down right before your stomach. It's the lower esophageal sphincter. Now you want that sphincter nice and tight, and it's the vagus nerve job to keep that sphincter tight. It opens up for food to go through, and as soon as the food gets in your stomach, it closes up real tight. Now why is that important? Because sometimes if it's loose, stomach acid will go up into your throat, and that burns your throat. That's called heartburn. That's an acid reflux. That's indigestion, and that's a big problem. Because as food goes down from swallowing into your stomach again is controlled by the vagus nerve, and that should have a pH of 1.5 to 2.5. And it's very important that it has that very low pH, because that is going to stimulate your gallbladder to release bile salts from your liver. It's going to stimulate your pancreas to secrete pancreatic enzymes. And that's for protein digestion, fat digestion, and sugar and carbohydrate digestion. Now digestion, when I say digestion, is breaking down the food particles. That low pH, 1.5 to 2.5 in your stomach, is also going to stimulate parietal cells in the stomach to make intrinsic factors for vitamin absorption, like B9 and B12, so you make proper red blood cells. And a lot of other stuff. So we're breaking down food here, and that's digestion. Once we get that food broken down and our stomach's all churned up and the food's all broken down with the acid and the churn up, and by the way, that acid's going to be a protectant factor, so it's going to kill viruses, just denature viruses. It's going to destroy bacteria, and it's going to break down the food, and the food comes to the small intestine. And here's where we start to get absorption. So everything from our stomach up, if we have a problem with that, it's called maldigestion. Everything from below our stomach is called malabsorption. And so our small intestine's job, it has little cilias that are here to absorb nutrients, and then little pockets in here called the zona occluta. That, and then right here, there's a great example. This would be a blood vessel, the portal vein. And so we feed little tiny food particles into the portal vein, which goes to our liver. And our liver cleans that out, detoxifies that food. Your liver washes through about a half a gallon of blood a minute. It processes that much blood. And then it goes into your bloodstream to your body. Now, as food goes through your small intestine, it then comes to the bottom of your small intestine, which is a little bit below your belly button, kind of where people know their appendix is. That is your ileocecal valve. And that is again controlled by your vagus, the vagus nerve, and it wants to be nice and tight because just above that area is what's called your cecum. And your cecum is where all those bacteria that you hear about, that's where they're stored. And there are more bacteria in that little area of the cecum, of the very beginning, the upper part of the ascending colon. There's more bacteria there than there are body cells that you own personally. There's more bacteria in my cecum than Dr. Moore cells in my whole body. And that has a big immune response. It helps us absorb nutrients and vitamins and helps us with our immune system. And so then food moves up. And as soon as it starts to make the turn, the transverse colon, that is where the control of the vagus nerve stops. And now we're going to be controlled along the transverse colon and down and out through our splanchnic nerve through the large intestine. The large intestine's job is the bacterial balance to help us absorb nutrients. It has a big function in our immune system and to absorb water. And then we have the bottom floor is exiting out the rectum, which again is controlled through a parasympathetic function through your splanchnic nerve. And so every one of these steps, from salivating to chewing to swallowing to hitting our stomach to adding in gallbladder bile salts and pancreatic enzymes, that's digestion. Boom, 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 breaking down the food. And then we have our small intestine for absorbing, getting the good stuff out of the food. And our liver filtering the blood a little bit that comes through and then before it goes to your body. And large intestine to help with the bacterial balance, getting more nutrients, absorbing the water, and then saying goodbye properly. Every step counts. If there is a problem with one of these steps, as we go down the ladder, there's going to be problems with all of the steps afterwards. I live in Michigan, so a great analogy is the assembly line at Ford Motor Company or any car company. If one person messes up one part of that assembly, the whole car is not a great car. And so your digestion, your absorption, you may have malabsorption problems. You may have male digestive problems. You may have both. And how do you know that? Acid reflux, indigestion, heartburn, diarrhea, constipation, difficulty swallowing, dry eyes, dry mouth. That's how you know you have these problems. And we have solutions to help optimize recovery of those areas. So I'm Dr. Robert Moore. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you have questions or comments, call our office today, 810-225-7246. We'd be glad to help you. And as always, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. God bless you. Have an awesome day and spread the word.